Center for Policy Research is one of India's oldest and leading think tanks based out of New Delhi. We were founded in 1973 as a multidisciplinary, non-partisan think tank. The challenge that we faced at the time that the Think Tanks Initiative came into the life cycle of CPR was how do we make ourselves more relevant to the policy ecosystem, not so much in terms of the quality of what we do, but in terms of the way in which we engage with the world. Thanks to the Think Tanks Initiative, we did two very important things. One, we initiated an important conversation within the Center for Policy Research about what it means for policy research to now begin to communicate, to use a think tank's word itself. Communicating isn't as easy as it's made out to be. It's not just about opening a Twitter handle. It's not just about creating a new website. It's about determining what are the ways in which an academic conversation can be broken down without compromising on the quality of that conversation in ways that is accessible to a wider audience. So we also need to figure out who exactly our audience is. And it also means we have to figure out what are the elements of what we do that must not and cannot be compromised on in terms of the rigor that we give to it, and what are the elements of what we do that should and need to be pushed harder to make it more accessible to a wider audience. That conversation was very important to build the institutional life cycle of CPR. But with think tank funding, we also brought in a communications team that made us a little more 21st century. We have a much cooler and hipper website, and more importantly, a much more usable website. It's easy now to find our work. We've also begun to experiment and explore different ways of making our work more accessible, not just publishing peer-reviewed journal articles on our website, but also through question and answer sessions, through blogs. We are now putting all our work on Twitter. We are becoming better at using Twitter to share with the world what we do. We also initiated, I think we are the first and perhaps only think tank in India, certainly, that has its own podcast series. And that's a really fun thing to do because it allows you to go beyond the scope of your research and really engage in a much more broader way with the issues that have encouraged researchers to build their particular research projects in the first place. So in making us a 21st century organization, in initiating a very deep and important conversation that I believe all think tanks in the world must have, which is how do you balance the rigor of policy research with the needs of modern communication, Think Tanks Initiative played a very, very crucial role and really helped move us in a new and interesting institutional direction.